Spanish with Michelle Thomas. Copyright 2000. In the content, Michelle Thomas. In the recording, Hodder and Stoughton. Recording 1.
You're just about to experience a new and different approach to learning and to language learning that will give you the practical and functional use within 10 to 12 hours of learning time. All this is achieved and will be achieved without memorizing, which means there's never anything to memorize, without learning by rote, without drill, without textbooks, without taking notes, and without homework, without any mental homework. That is very important for you to be relaxed, to take off, to leave off any form of tension, any form of anxiety that is usually associated with learning and traditionally also particularly with language learning. And any form of anxiety, any form of tension inhibits true and effective learning. Before starting, there are two ground rules that are very important. The first ground rule is for you never to worry about remembering, and therefore never to try to remember, because this is a method where the responsibility for your remembering is in the teaching and not with you, not with the learner. And this is a method where the responsibility for attention is in the teaching and not with the learner. Therefore, there's no homework, not even any mental homework. It's very important not to review even mentally of what you've learned. Let it be absorbed and internalized to become knowledge. And what you know, you will not forget. Now come to ground rule number 2. That is very important too. That ground rule is that in the course I'm using 2 students as a teaching device in order to create a learning situation for 3. You become the third in the group. And very quickly you will associate with the 2 on the tapes. You will become part of it. And it's very important, therefore, that after I introduce a concept, I will follow up in a practical way and show you how to formulate and to express thoughts in sentences. First, those will be short sentences, then more and more complex and longer sentences. And whenever I say, how do you say it? At that point, it's very important, I repeat, very important for you to use the pause button on the machine, which gives you time to think it out, to think it through, and to respond out loud. After you respond, you release the pause button. You will then get the response from one of the 2 students, and after that I will repeat it, so that the last impression is always what you get from me. And this is how you will experience a constant sense of progression, a constant sense of learning that you will find exciting, stimulating, and self-rewarding. This course will give you standard Spanish, the standard Spanish language. There's a slight difference in pronunciation with so-called Castilian Spanish and the pronunciation in parts of Spain, where the C in front of an E or I is pronounced like a TH in English, like in Barcelona. Well, that's how you will pronounce it in Castilian Spanish and parts of Spain, but everywhere else it will be pronounced Barcelona, like an S. So again, the C before E and I, and also the Z or the Z, which is pronounced like a TH. If you want to say you are right in Spanish, you say you have reason. The word for reason, spelled R-A-Z or Z-O-N, in Castilian Spanish will be pronounced razón, otherwise razón. So it's a very, very slight pronunciation difference. So in Spanish, you are right, you will say tiene or tienes razón in Castilian Spanish, but otherwise tienes razón. With heart is corazón, C-O-R-A-Z or Z-O-N. In Castilian Spanish, corazón, otherwise corazón. This is the only slight difference. I do point it out in the beginning of the course. First, a few words about the Spanish language in relationship to English, to show you how to get acquainted with a language that is not entirely foreign, alien to English, but that there's a broad common basis of familiarity between both English and Spanish. So much so that there's a large percentage, the su vocabulario inglés of your English vocabulary, that is very similar to Spanish. Thousands of words. And para comenzar, to commence, to begin with, I'm going to give you a few keys to show you how you can immediatamente, immediately, transform su vocabulario inglés, your English vocabulary, into Spanish, so that you will have a starting vocabulario of well over 2,000 words, which is not bad to begin with. Especially, if you consider how limitado, how limited the vocabulario is, which we use in our active language, in our vocabulario activo, our active vocabulary, is quite small in any language. It may vary between 500 and 1,500 words. That's all we use in any language. If I think of one of the major newspapers in the New York area, years ago they tried to establish how many words they use in the whole newspaper, in a thick newspaper, and they came up with 600 words. First, a few words about the Spanish language in relationship to English, to show you how to get acquainted with a language that is not entirely foreign, alien to English, but that there's a broad common basis of familiarity between both English and Spanish. So much so that there's a large percentage, the su vocabulario inglés of your English vocabulary, that is very similar to Spanish. Thousands of words. And para comenzar, to commence, to begin with, I'm going to give you a few keys to show you how you can immediatamente, immediately, transform su vocabulario inglés, your English vocabulary, into Spanish, so that you will have a starting vocabulario of well over 2,000 words, which is not bad to begin with. especialmente, especially, if you consider how limitado, how limited the vocabulario is which we use in our active language, in our vocabulario activo, our active vocabulary is quite small in any language. It may vary between 500 and 1500 words. That's all we use in any language. If I think of one of the major newspapers in the New York area, years ago, they tried to establish how many words they use in the whole newspaper, in a thick newspaper, and they came up with 600 words. Just to give you an idea about the limitation del vocabulario activo, of the active vocabulary which we use in our everyday language. I'm going to give you a few examples of how to transformar, how to transform su vocabulario inglés, your English vocabulary, into Spanish. For instance, or words in English ending in IBLE, like possible, or ABLE, like probable, acceptable, and so on, are the same in English and in Spanish, except for the pronunciation, for the pronunciation. There's a diferencia, the difference in the pronunciation and the pronunciation. Because IBLE in Spanish is pronounced ible, because the letter I in Spanish is always pronounced I. And ABLE in Spanish is pronounced able, because the letter A in Spanish is always pronounced A. So we have ible and able. So if you want to say possible, would be posible, and probable would be probable. And it is, in Spanish, is S, spelled E-S, S. So it is possible would be
Es posible.
Yes, but I want to hear the ble. Es
posible.
Es posible.
Es posible.
Right. Es posible. And probable would be it is probable.
Es probable.
Es probable. It is terrible would be
Es terrible.
What's more?
Es terrible.
Yes, es terrible. And it is acceptable. Acceptable is spelled with one C only in Spanish. Es
aceptable.
Yes, but I want to hear the ending. Es aceptable.
Es aceptable.
Ble.
Ble.
Yes, once more.
Es aceptable.
Right, es aceptable. For me is para mí. Para, P-A-R-A. Again, the A. If you want to ask a question in Spanish, it's very simple. You just use the inflection. For instance, if you want to say, it is acceptable for you, as a statement would be
Es aceptable para usted.
Right. Es aceptable para usted. If you want to make it a question, you will say, is it acceptable for you? You use the inflection to a question.
Es aceptable para usted?
Right? Es aceptable para usted? In spelling, to make a distinction in reading, whether it is a statement or a question. Whenever you have a question, you will have in front of the sentence an inverted question mark. The inverted question mark in Spanish will indicate that this is going to be a question. At the end, you have a question mark, of course. So, isn't it acceptable for you, would be?
No es aceptable para usted?
Right? No es aceptable para usted. And the word for why is por qué. Por qué. What for what? Por qué, why. Yes, por qué also means because. So why isn't it acceptable for you?
¿Por qué no es aceptable?
Acceptable. It's only spelled with one C.
Okay.
¿Por qué?
¿Por qué no es aceptable para usted?
Right. Now, here, in this case, the inflection is not necessary. You may or may not, because por qué already introduces the question, yes? So you can say, ¿por qué no es aceptable para usted? Or ¿por qué no es aceptable para usted? Either way. A useful, very useful little word in Spanish is one word for like that or that way, which is así. Así, which is spelled A-S-I, and it has an accent over the I. I will explain to you a little later why the accent. Así, así, así means like that, that way. So, it is like that would be
Es así.
es así. It is not like that.
No es así.
No es así. It is not possible that way.
No es posible así.
No es posible así. It is not acceptable for me that way.
No es aceptable.
It's only spelled with one C.
No es aceptable
For me.
para mí así.
Right. No es aceptable para mí así. Why isn't it acceptable for you that way?
¿Por qué no es posible?
Acceptable
Oh, aceptable
for you.
para usted.
Para usted.
Usted así.
Right. ¿Por qué no es aceptable para usted así? If you want to say, I'm sorry, which sometimes you may want to say, in Spanish you say, I feel it. I feel very badly about it. I feel is siento. Siento. Spelled S-I-E-N-T-O. Siento. Siento. Sentiment with feeling, with sentiment. Siento is I feel. The O of siento in the verb expresses I. So the word for I in Spanish is yo, spelled Y-O, yo. But if you say yo siento, that would make it more emphatic. That would be I feel. In English, you would have to raise the volume of your voice, I. Because the I is not necessary because of the O in siento. Siento is I feel. And lo siento would be it I feel, or I feel it, I really feel it. I'm sorry. Lo siento is used for I'm sorry, I feel it. Lo siento. And lo siento, I'm sorry, is usually followed by but. I'm sorry, but. And but is pero. Pero. P-E-R-O. So how would you say I'm sorry, but?
Lo siento, pero.
Lo siento, pero. Lo siento, pero. I'm sorry, but it is not acceptable for me. That way would be.
Lo siento, pero no es aceptable para mí así.
Right. Lo siento, pero no es aceptable para mí así. I'm sorry, but it is not possible that way.
Lo siento,
But,
pero
right, lo siento, pero
no es
no, it is not possible that way.
no es posible así.
Right. Lo siento, pero no es posible así. It is not possible that way. No es posible. Words in English ending in ENT and ANT are similar in Spanish. In Spanish, you add the letter E pronounced E, so which makes ENT in Spanish ente at the end. Like different would be differente, E-N-T-E, ente, differente. And A-N-T makes it A-N-T-E, which makes it ante. Important, therefore, will be importante. So ante and ente, with the stress on the an or en, ante and ente. So it is important for me would be,
Es importante para mí.
right, es importante para mí. And it is not different that way would be,
No es diferente así.
right, no es diferente así. The word for good is bueno, bueno, bueno. If you want to make it very good, very is muy. Muy spelled M-U-Y, muy. So it is very good would be, it is,
Es
muy, not muy.
es muy bueno.
Bueno, bueno.
Es muy bueno.
Right, es muy bueno. Es muy bueno. It is not very good.
No es muy bueno.
No es muy bueno. It is not very different that way.
No es muy.
Muy.
No es muy.
Not muy. Muy, muy.
No es muy.
No, muy, muy, muy.
Muy.
There's no M-U-Y. Muy.
Muy.
Right,
No es muy diferente así.
right. No es muy diferente así. But it is very important for me. But
Pero
it is very important for me.
es muy importante para mí.
Importante
Importante
for me.
para mí.
Right. I say importante because in Spanish they allow you only one single stress on any word. Never more than one stress. I repeat, never more than one. I will explain to you later where to put that stress. Right now, I will say, whenever you have a vowel at the end of a word, that one single stress will be placed on the penultimate syllable, on the syllable before last. So, important, therefore, will be
Tante.
importante. Yes. So you cannot say importante. You cannot say importante, because you are only allowed one single stress. Restaurant would be,
Restaurante.
right, restaurante. I have, in Spanish, is tango. Tango. It's almost like the tango which one dances in Argentina, but it is spelled with T-E-N-G-O. Tango. So, I have a tango. Tango. I have tango. So, again, the O in tango expresses, and the verb expresses I. Yes. So you don't have to say your tango. Your tango would be I have. But just I have tango. I don't have would be
No tengo.
no, not tango.
No tango.
Right. The O is an O, like an obey. It's not an O, but an O. No tango. Not tango. What is I'm sorry? I feel it.
Lo siento.
Lo siento.
Lo siento.
What is I have?
Tengo.
Tango. And I have it would be
Lo tengo.
lo tango. Right. Yes. So like lo siento, I feel it. I have it. Lo tango. Lo tango. So how would you say I don't have it?
No lo tango.
No.
No.
No lo.
No lo tengo.
Again, it is not the O is not an O, but an O. Obey, like an obey. No lo.
No lo tengo.
Right. No lo tengo. I don't have it. No lo tengo. I want is quiero. 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 I want. I care. Quiero. Quiero. Spelled Q-U-I-E-R-O. The Q-U has the sound of a K. So quiero. Quiero. It's I want. Again, the stress whenever you have two syllables and the second syllable ends in a vowel, the syllable before last is the first one. This is when you put the stress. Tengo, quiero, quiero, I want. And I want it would be
Lo quiero.
not lo, but
Lo
right.
Lo quiero.
Right, lo quiero, I want it. I don't want it that way.
No lo.
Not no.
No lo quiero así.
Right. No lo quiero así. I need is necesito. Necesito. I necessitate. Necesito. I need. Here we have 4 syllables. Necesito. You have a vowel at the end, so you push down on the syllable before last, on the penultimate syllable, which makes it necesi. And then you come up on O. Necesito for I need. Yes. Again, the O for I. So, again, I need would be
Necesito.
necesito. And I need it.
Lo necesito.
Lo necesito. And I don't need it.
No lo necesito.
No lo necesito. Right.
No lo necesito.
Yes. The word for now is ahora. Ahora. Hora, spelled H-O-R-A, means hour. And the H is not pronounced in Spanish. So hora means hour. Ahora, at hour. A means at or to. Ahora, at hour, meaning now. At the hour. Now. Ahora. Yes. How would you say I want it?
Lo quiero.
Right. Lo quiero. Lo quiero. I want it. But.
Pero.
But I don't need it now.
No lo necesito ahora.
Right. No lo necesito ahora. So say it again. I want it, but I don't need it now. I want it.
Lo quiero,
But.
pero no lo necesito ahora.
Right. Lo quiero, I want it, but, pero, no lo necesito ahora, I don't need it now. Constant would be...
Constantante.
Once more?
Constantante.
It's not...
Okay.
It's constant, it's not constant. Constant would be...
Constant. I don't know.
Everything with A-N-T and E-N-T
Constant.
Once more?
Constante.
Right, of course. Constante. Yes. Evident.
Evidente.
Of course. Say it again.
Evidente.
Evidente. Yes. And urgent would be urgente. The G before E and I in English is pronounced J. Urgent. Yes. And in Spanish, the G before E and I is pronounced like in Scotland, the Loch Ness. Loch. Like it's so urgent would be urgente. Urgente. But spelled with a G. So it is very urgent would be.
Es muy urgente.
Right. Es muy urgente. How would you say, I need it now? It is very urgent.
Lo necesito ahora. Es muy urgente.
Yes, es muy
Gente.
Once more?
Urgente.
Right. Urgente.
Urgente.
Yes. Right. So lo necesito, I need it. Lo necesito ahora. It is very urgent. Es muy urgente. I have is
Tengo.
tengo. And I have it.
Lo tengo.
Lo tengo. And I don't have it.
No lo tengo.
No lo tengo. But you have is tiene. 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 Tenacious. Tiene. Spelled T-I-E-N-E. Tiene is you have. Of course, you can say usted tiene for you have, or just tiene. If you're talking to somebody, tienes will be understood you have. Yes. So if you want to say what is que? Que. Que. Spelled Q-U-E, it has an accent over the E. Que. How would you say, what do you have?
Que tiene.
Right. Yes, but only one. You gave me You gave me more than one stress.
Que tiene.
Right. Que tiene. Que tiene. Yes. You may push down deeper if you wish, but there's only one single stress. Not to whisper more than one. Que tiene. What you have. So, what you have for me now would be.
Que tiene.
For me.
Para mí.
Para mí.
Para mí. Así. Oh, no, ahora.
Ahora, right. Que tiene para mí ahora. So once more, what does I have?
Tengo.
Once more?
Tengo.
Right. Tengo. I have it.
Lo tengo.
Lo tengo. And I don't have it.
No lo tengo.
No. No lo. The O is an O.
No.
No lo. Once more?
No lo tengo.
No lo tengo. You have is.
Tiene.
Once more?
Tiene.
Tiene. Right. Tiene. What do you have?
Que tiene.
Que.
Que. Que tiene. Oh, tiene.
Yes. Right. Que tiene. Once more, I have it.
Lo tengo.
Lo tengo. Yes, it I have. Lo tengo. How would you say you have?
Tiene.
Once more?
Tiene.
Tiene. Tiene. And you have it would be?
Lo tiene.
Right. It you have. Lo tiene. How would you say, do you have it?
Lo tiene.
Right. Lo tiene. How would you say you don't have it?
No lo tiene.
No lo tiene. Right. How would you say, don't you have it?
No lo tiene.
Right. No lo tiene. You use the inflection to a question. No lo tiene. Don't you have it? Don't you have it for me now?
No lo tiene para mí ahora.
Right? No lo tiene para mí ahora? Why don't you have it for me now? Because I need it. Why
¿Por qué
don't you have it
no lo tiene
for me
para mí
now?
ahora?
Ahora? Because and why is the same?
¿Por qué?
Porque I need it now.
Lo necesito ahora.
Right. Porque lo necesito ahora. So, why don't you have it for me? Porque no lo tiene para mí now, ahora. Because, porque I need it now, lo necesito ahora. What is I want?
Quiero.
Quiero. Right, quiero. Quiero. Quiero, I want. And I want it.
Lo quiero.
Lo quiero. I want it. I want it now.
Lo quiero ahora.
Right, lo quiero ahora. I don't want it.
No lo quiero.
No lo quiero. I don't want it. So, again, I want is
Quiero.
quiero. So the O is for I. And if you change the O to an E, pronounce that would be for you. So you want would be
Quiere.
quiere. Right. Quiere. So again, I want.
Quiero.
A little more push.
Quiero.
So the O for I. And you want.
Quiere.
What do you want? What is
Que.
que?
Que quiere.
Que quiere? What do you want? Que quiere? I want it.
Lo quiero.
Lo quiero. I don't want it.
No lo quiero.
You want is.
Quiere.
You gave me 2 pushes.
Quiere.
Aha. Quiere. Right. How do you say you want it? Let's go back to I want. Right.
Lo quiere.
Oh, you already answered my next question. You turned it into a question. Lo quiere is do you want it? I said you want it.
Lo quiere.
Yes. Lo quiere. And now if you want to say do you want it?
Lo quiere.
Lo quiere? Yes, do you want it? Lo quiere? You use the inflection to a question. How would you say, why don't you want it that way?
¿Por qué?
¿Por qué?
¿Por qué
Don't you want it?
no lo quiere así?
Así, right. ¿Por qué no lo quiere así? To know is saber. To have saber. Spelled S-A-B-E-R. Saber, to know. I want to know would be.
Quiero saber.
Right. Quiero saber. I don't want to know.
No quiero saber.
Right. No quiero saber. I want, how would you say, I want to know why you don't have it for me now.
Quiero saber
Why?
por qué.
¿Por qué?
¿Por qué
You don't have it.
no lo tiene?
Once more.
No lo tiene
Right. No lo tiene for me.
para mí
No.
ahora.
Right. Quiero saber, I want to know. ¿Por qué? Why? No lo tiene, you don't have it. Para mí, ahora. I can is puedo, puedo, puedo. Spelled P-U-E-D-O. Puedo, puedo. The English word power has the same derivation. But what you can do gives you the power to do it. Puedo is I can. If I can is puedo, with the O, puedo, how would you say you can?
Puede.
But only one stress.
Puede.
Right. Puede, puede. To do or to make is hacer, spelled H-A-C-E-R. Again, the H is not pronounced, so you have hacer, to do. How would you say to do like that?
Hacer así.
Hacer así.
Hacer así.
Hacer así. Hacer así. Yes? To do like that. Hacer. Hacer así, to do like that. So hacer is to do and also to make. C before E and I, like in hacer, in Madrid and Castilian Spanish is pronounced like a TH, like an English TH, meaning hacer. So you have either hacer or hacer. In all of Latin America, it's you don't have the TH sound. It's hacer, yes. But also in some parts of Spain, you also say hacer. So hacer, to do or to make. So if you want to say, what do you want to do now, would be, what do you want? What is
Que,
right? Do you want?
quiere
Que quiere, to do.
hacer
Now.
ahora.
Right. Que quiere hacer ahora. Again, to do.
Hacer.
Okay. When you have a consonant at the end of a word, then the one single stress will be placed at the end. So to do or to make is
Hacer.
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 Right. To eat is spelled C-O-M-E-R, pronounced
Comer.
comer. Yes, to eat in the commissary, comer, to eat. And the word for something is algo, algo. So I want something would be,
Quiero algo.
once more,
Quiero algo.
quiero algo. I have something for you. I have.
Tengo.
Once more.
Tengo.
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 Tengo. Oh, yes.
Tengo algo. Algo.
Algo, right.
Algo.
For you.
Para usted.
Para usted. Tengo. Yes, again the O is an O. Tengo algo para usted. And I want to eat would be
Quiero comer.
quiero comer. Comer. Quiero comer. And I want to eat something now.
Quiero comer algo.
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 Right, algo.
Ahora.
Right. Quiero comer algo ahora. What is I have?
Tengo.
Tengo. And if you want to say I am hungry, in Spanish you say I have hunger. The word for hunger is hambre, spelled Hambre. Not to be confused ever with hombre, which you may have heard. Hombre, Hombre, means man. But hambre means hunger. For I'm hungry, you say, I have hunger, which would be
Tengo.
tango,
Tengo.
not tango, tango.
Tengo hambre.
Right, tengo hambre, tengo hambre. So I want to eat something now because I'm hungry, would be. I want.
Tengo.
No, I want.
Quiero.
Once more.
Quiero.
It's not
Quiero.
right. Quiero.
Quiero.
To eat.
Comer.
Comer. Something.
Algo.
Algo. No.
Ahora.
Right. Quiero comer algo ahora because.
¿Por qué?
Porque I have hunger.
Tengo hambre.
Right. Porque tengo hambre. Quiero comer algo ahora. I want to eat something now because I'm hungry. Porque tengo hambre. What do you want to eat would be. What do you want?
¿Qué quiere?
Not que, but que.
¿Qué quiere?
Once more.
Quiere. Quiere.
Right. Say it again.
¿Qué quiere?
Quiere. Yes.
Quiere
To eat.
comer.
Right. ¿Qué quiere comer? So again, I'm hungry would be I have hunger.
Tengo hambre.
Tengo hambre. How would you say you are hungry? That would be you have hunger, yes?
Tiene hambre.
Tiene hambre. And are you hungry?
Tiene hambre.
Right. Tiene hambre. How would you say, are you hungry? Do you want to eat something now?
Tiene hambre. ¿Quiere comer algo ahora?
Right. Yes. Tiene hambre. Do you have hunger? Are you hungry? Tiene hambre. Do you want to eat something now? Do you want, quiere, to eat, comer algo ahora? And why don't you want to eat?
Porque
Don't you want?
no quiere comer.
Right. ¿Por qué no quiere comer? Why don't you want to eat? All words in English, almost all words in English, ending in "-ery", like necessary, vocabulary, contrary. So "ery" in Spanish becomes "ario", like necessary would be
Necesario.
necesario. So it is not necessary for me now because I don't need it.
No
It is not necessary.
No es necesito.
Necessary is
Necesario.
right. So once more, it is not necessary
No es necesario
for me,
para mí,
para mí, no.
ahora,
Right. No es necesario para mí ahora because I don't need it.
¿por qué?
¿Por qué? I don't need it.
No lo necesito.
No lo necesito is right. I don't need it. No lo necesito. So will you do that again? It is not necessary for me now because I don't need it.
No es necesario.
Right. No es necesario for me.
Para mí.
Para mí.
Para mí.
No.
Ahora.
Ahora. Because I don't need it.
Porque no lo necesito.
Right. Porque no lo necesito. Yes. How would you say, I'm sorry, but I don't have it and I don't want it because I don't need it now. I'm sorry.
Lo siento.
It's a little more push.
Lo siento.
Right. Lo siento. But
Pero
I don't have it.
no lo tengo.
And is E, spelled Y. E.
Y
And E. And I don't want it.
no lo quiero.
No lo quiero,
No
right?
lo quiero.
Because I don't need it now.
Porque no lo necesito ahora.
Right. ¿Por qué? No lo necesito because I don't need it now, ahora. Contrary would be
Contrario.
contrario. Mhm.
Contrario.
Al contrario would be on the contrary. Al contrario. Vocabulary.
Vocabulario.
Vocabulario. The word for to see is ver, spelled V-E-R, with vision, ver, to see. The V in Spanish has the same sound as the B. V and B have the same sound. In other words, you pronounce the V with your lips, and sometimes it's a soft B, so it may sound like a V, but pronounced with your lips. So to see is bear. Yes, like seeing the bear. Bear. So it's, again, very important to know how to pronounce the V like a B. And you will understand why Spanish speakers, when they learn English, have to learn how to pronounce the V in English, how to touch the upper teeth with your lower lips. Otherwise, you will hear them say it's very, very good. Very good. Yes. So bear. If you have the whole verb, like to see, and you want to say to see it, then the it follows the position like in English. You will say verlo. Verlo. And in Spanish, you hook it on, also in spelling. Verlo is spelled in one word, to see it, verlo. Like, if you want to say, I want to see it, would be
Quiero verlo.
quiero verlo. I don't want to see it.
No quiero verlo.
Right, no quiero verlo. Yes. Again, I want is
Quiero.
quiero. I want it,
Lo quiero.
but I want to see it.
Quiero verlo.
Quiero verlo. Yes. Do you want to see it?
Quiere verlo.
Yes, a little more push on do you want.
Quiere verlo.
Right. Quiere verlo? Why don't you want to see it?
¿Por qué?
Mm-hmm. Don't you want? What's more?
No.
What's more? Why don't you want?
¿Por qué no quiere
Yes.
verlo?
Right. Say it again.
¿Por qué no quiere verlo?
Right. ¿Por qué no quiere verlo? What is I can? Do you remember I can? It's the power part. Puede. I can.
Puede.
Puede is you can.
Puedo.
Puedo is I can. And you can would be?
Puede.
Right. So, I cannot see it would be?
No puedo verlo.
Right. No puedo verlo. Whenever you have 2 or 3 consecutive verbs, the second and third verb is the full verb. In other words, in the English, in the to form, also called infinitive. In other words, I cannot see it would be I cannot to see it. no puedo verlo. I will come back to it. Can you see it would be, can you,
Puede.
but only one push.
Puede.
Puede, right?
Verlo.
Puede verlo would be, you can see it. How about the question?
Oh.
Can you see it?
Puede. Verlo.
Right. Puede verlo? Yes. Puede verlo? Can you see it? If you say puede verlo, would be you can see it. But if you use why or what can you see, then the why and what already introduces the question, and the inflection is not necessary. You still can use it. So what can you see would be, what is
Que puede
see.
ver.
Right. Que puede ver, yes. Or why can't you see it?
¿Por qué?
¿Por qué
¿Por qué
can you not see it?
no puede verlo?
Right. ¿Por qué no puede verlo? Now here the inflection is not necessary because por qué already introduces the question. But you still can say also ¿por qué no puede verlo? Or ¿por qué no puede verlo? Either way, it's why can't you see it? What is to do or to make?
Hacer.
Hacer. H-A-C-E-R. Hacer. Yes.
Hacer.
Hacer. And to see is
Ver.
ver. To see it,
Verlo.
verlo. To do or to make is
Hacer.
hacer. How do you say to do it?
Hacerlo.
Yes, but don't give me two pushes. Only one.
Hacerlo.
Hacerlo. Right. Hacerlo. Yes. So hacer, and you hook on the lo to the R. Hacerlo. It's also spelled in one word. Hacerlo is to do it or to make it. So I don't want to do it that way would be.
No quiero hacerlo así.
Right. No quiero hacerlo así. Because I cannot do it.
Porque
¿Por qué? I cannot.
no puedo hacerlo.
Right. Porque no puedo hacerlo, because I cannot do it. Why can't you do it that way?
Porque no,
Can you not?
no puede.
Give me a little more push. Porque no?
Porque no puede.
Right. Porque no puede do it.
Oh, hacerlo.
Right. Porque no puede hacerlo. Yes. I want to know why you can't do it that way. I want to know.
Quiero
To know is
saber. Ver.
what more? Yes. Yes.
Quiero saber.
Right. Quiero saber. S-A-B-E-R. To know. Quiero saber. Why?
Porque
You can't do it that way.
no puede.
A little more push.
No puede
Right. No puede do it.
hacer así.
Do it.
Hacerlo así.
Right. So, quiero saber. I want to know. Why? ¿Por qué? You can't do it. You cannot. Is no puede do it. To do it. Hacerlo así. That way. Words in English ending in ence and ance are similar in Spanish. All words ending in ence, like difference, in Spanish will end in encia, ansia, and ance, ansia. So difference would be
Diferencia.
differencia. Importance will be
Importancia.
importancia, right? Influence,
Influencia.
influencia. Preference,
Preferencia.
of course. Preferencia. And the difference is la. So the difference would be la
Diferencia.
differencia. A difference is una differencia. And what difference would be? What is
¿Qué
que
diferencia?
differencia? So the preference would be
La diferencia.
preference.
Oh, la preferencia.
Yes, once more.
La preferencia.
Yes, but I want to hear it a little more clearly. La,
Preferencia.
right. La preferencia. Yes, yes, you push down on the penultimate syllable, on the syllable before last. Preferencia. La preferencia. A preference would be,
Una preferencia.
right, una preferencia. And what preference?
¿Qué preferencia?
Que preferencia. How would you say, do you have a preference? Do you have?
Tiene.
Yes, a little more push.
Tiene
Right. Tiene.
una preferencia.
Right. Tiene una preferencia. What preference do you have?
¿Qué preferencia tiene?
Tiene.
Tiene.
Right. ¿Qué preferencia tiene? For what restaurant do you have a preference? For?
Para
What restaurant?
qué restaurante
Right. Para qué restaurante do you have a preference?
tiene una preferencia.
Right. Para qué restaurante tiene una preferencia? If you want to say tonight in Spanish you say this night. This is esta, and night is noche, N-O-C-H-E, noche. Esta noche is tonight. So it is for tonight would be
Es
for,
para esta noche.
right, es para esta noche. Yes. So once more, for what restaurant do you have a preference tonight?
¿Para qué restaurante?
A little more push.
¿Para qué restaurante?
Right. ¿Para qué restaurante? Do you have a preference?
Tiene una preferencia.
Tonight.
Esta noche.
Right. ¿Para qué restaurante tiene una preferencia esta noche? Where is donde? Donde. Donde. D-O-N-D-E. Donde. Where do you want to eat?
Donde
Do you want?
quiere
Quiere.
comer.
Right. Donde quiere comer. The dinner in Spanish is la cena. La Cena. Cena, spelled C-E-N-A. In Madrid, cena. The C before E, like a TH sound. Cena or cena is dinner. La Cena. And to dine, to have dinner, in Spanish you say to dine, cenar. C-E-N-A-R is to dine or to have dinner. So where do you want to have dinner tonight would be?
¿Dónde
Do you want
quiere
to dine
cenar
tonight?
esta noche?
Right. ¿Dónde quiere cenar esta noche? Yes. Do you have a preference?
¿Tiene una preferencia?
Right. ¿Tiene una preferencia? What preference you have?
¿Qué preferencia tiene?
¿Qué preferencia tiene? Right. And for what restaurant do you have a preference tonight?
¿Para qué restaurante
Do you have a preference
tiene una preferencia
tonight?
esta noche?
Right. ¿Para qué restaurante tiene una preferencia esta noche? All words in English ending in ION are also similar in Spanish. Like opinion is opinión, and everything that is spelled with T-I-O-N in English, like condition, position, reservation, and so on, there are 1,200 of them in English and in Spanish. But everything that ends in T-I-O-N in English is spelled with C-I-O-N in Spanish, because that is how you pronounce it in Spanish, which means that condition in Spanish would be pronounced...
Condición.
Yes, but you hit the ending. Condición.
Condición.
Condición, yes. Condición. Position would be?
Posición.
Posición. You are only allowed one stress, yes. And reservation would be?
Reservación.
Reservación. The V is pronounced with your lips, with like a soft B. Reservación.
Reservación.
Right. The reservation would be?
La reservación.
La reservación. Yes, a reservation.
Una reservación.
Hit the ending.
Una reservación.
Right, una reservación. And how would you say, do you have a reservation for me for tonight?
Tiene una reservación
For me?
para mí.
Para
Para mí.
For tonight.
Para esta noche.
Right. So do you have a reservation for me? Tiene una reservación for me, para mí, for tonight, para esta noche.
End of recording 1. Spanish with Michel Thomas. Recording 2.
Words ending in IUN in English are the same in Spanish, and TIUN in English is spelled with CIUN because that's how you pronounce it. So you don't have the shin in Spanish, but sion. Yes, CIUN. Like condition would be?
Condición.
Condición. Condición. The condition.
La condición.
La condición. A condition.
Una condición.
Una condición. And what condition?
¿Qué condición?
Right. ¿Qué condición? And reservation would be?
Reservación.
Right. Reservación. So everything in Asian, everything that ends in Asian, so the A is pronounced A, so Asian is acción. 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 Yes. So again, reservation,
Reservation.
Reservation, right. So the V, pronounced with your lips, like a soft B. Reservation is reservation. The reservation would be
La reservation.
la reservación. A reservation,
Una reservation.
una reservación. And what reservation?
Que reservation.
Que reservación, yes. How would you say, do you have the confirmation of the reservation for me for tonight? The word for of is de, spelled D-E, de. So the confirmation of the reservation would be?
La confirmación
Of the reservation.
de la reservación.
Right. La confirmación de la reservación. And do you have the confirmation of the reservation for me for tonight would be?
Tiene la confirmación
Of the reservation.
de la
Not
reservación.
de, but de.
De
De
la
la,
reservación.
de la reservación for me
Para mí,
for tonight.
para esta noche.
Right. So do you have tiene the confirmation of the reservation, la confirmación de la reservación for me, para esta noche, for tonight. If you want to say what kind of reservation, for what kind, in Spanish you say what type, and type is tipo, tipo, tipo. So what type of reservation do you have for me would be?
Que tipo
Of
de
reservation
reservation
do you have for me? Do you have
tiene
for me?
para mí,
Para,
para mí,
right. Para mí,
para mí
for tonight.
esta noche.
For tonight.
Oh, para esta noche.
Right. So what kind of reservation, qué tipo de reservación do you have, tiene, for me, para mí, for tonight, para esta noche? They may ask you, what kind of reservation do you want?
¿Qué tipo,
¿Qué?
qué,
What's more?
qué tipo de reservación
Do you want?
quiere?
Right. ¿Qué tipo de reservación quiere? What kind of reservation do you want? So, well over 1,000 nouns, 1,000 words in English and in Spanish that end in ION. Close to 1,200. So, we don't have to go through all of them. You name it, and you can say it. Just a few exceptions, maybe 3, like translation. In Spanish, it's not translación, but traducción. Traducción. So, if you want to say, I need a translation, would be, I need is I necessitate.
Oh. Necesito
a translation.
una traducción.
Right. Necesito una traducción. Can you make a translation for me?
Puede hacer
Right. Puede hacer a translation for me.
una traducción
For me.
para mí.
Right. Puede hacer, can you make, puede hacer una traducción para mí. Puede, can you, is also used for will you please. So, will you make a translation for me? Or can you make a translation? It's the same. Puede hacer una traducción para mí. Of course, there's a difference in English between will you please, and can you. In Spanish, the difference will be with puede, with can, is expressed for, if you want to use can you, that becomes a question. If you instead of saying, will you make a translation, which you just said, puede hacer una traducción para mí, por favor, please, por favor. But can you make a translation? That becomes a question, and you will use inflection.
¿Puede hacerlo? No.
Yes, puede hacer una traducción para mí? That becomes can you? Can you? Yes or no? Yes? There's the difference. So again, to do or to make is
Hacer.
hacer. To do it,
Hacerlo.
hacerlo. Spelled in one word, hacerlo. If you want to say, will you please do it for me, would be, will you do it for me, is can you do it for me?
Puede.
Puede.
Puede. Hacerlo para mí.
Puede hacerlo para mí, por favor, yes, please. But if you want to say, can you do it for me? Can you do it for me today? That becomes now a question.
Puede.
Once more.
Puede.
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 Do it.
Hacer.
It.
Hacerlo
For me.
para mí.
Aha, today is hoy. Hoy. Spelled H-O-Y. Hoy. Yes. Hoy is today. Hoy. So, puede hacerlo para mí hoy? Yes. Now, if you make it a question, then it is can you. Again, will you make a translation for me would be, will you please?
¿Puede
Right.
hacer una traducción para mí?
Now you use the question, and that was correct for, can you make a translation for me? Can you? Yes.
But will you is...
But if you want to say, will you please, then that is not a question.
Right.
Yes. So say again, will you make a translation? Will you or can you make a translation for me?
¿Puede hacer una traducción para mí?
Para mí.
Para mí.
Right. Puede hacer una traducción para mí. Now you can throw in por favor if you wish, please. Yes. So traducción is one of the exceptions. Another exception is explanation in Spanish. Is not explanation, but explication. Explicación. To give is dar. To donate, dar. D-A-R, dar. Yes. So if you want to say, will you give an explanation? Can you give an explanation would be?
¿Puede dar una explicación? Explicación.
Right. Puede dar una explicación. Yes. But if you want to say, can you give an explanation, that becomes a question.
Puede dar una explicación?
Right? Puede dar una explicación? Can you? Yes. Yes or no? Verbs that are derived from nouns that are similar in English and in Spanish, verbs also will be similar. You just add an AR to the English. For instance, let's take formation. Formation would be
Formacionar.
No. The noun, formation.
Formación.
Formación, yes. So it's an ION noun, formación, but then the verb to form, you add an AR to the English to form, and you have formar. To conform would be?
Conformar.
Yes, but since you have whenever you have a consonant at the end, you have to hit the ending. The one single stress will be at the end.
Conformar.
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 Conformar, yes, is to conform. And to confirm would be?
Confirmar.
You have to hit the ending.
Confirm. No.
No.
Confirmar.
Right, confirmar. Which means that with all verbs in Spanish, the infinitive, meaning the whole verb, in English, you use to confirm, to eat, to know, to see. That to form of a verb, yes, the whole verb, which is also called infinitive, in Spanish is expressed in an ending. And that ending has an R. That three types of verbs. AR, pronounced R, like hablar, is to speak. Or ER, comer, to eat. Or IR, venir, is to come. Salir is to leave. You may have seen the signs at the airport, salida, exit, yes, salir, to leave. But all verbs have an R at the end, so therefore you have to hit the ending. Which means that whenever you have a consonant at the end of a word, the one single stress will be at the end. Whenever you have a vowel at the end of a word, the one single stress which they allow you to use is on the penultimate syllable, on the syllable before last. Tengo, quiero, necesito, importante, restaurante. Yes. So whenever, I repeat, whenever you have a vowel at the end, you push down on the syllable before last, on the penultimate syllable. Whenever you have a consonant at the end, the one single stress will be at the end. Except for two consonants, except for N and S. When you have an N at the end or an S at the end, then the push, the stress, will be on the penultimate syllable, on the syllable before last, the same as with vowels. To make it easy for you to remember, in the English word nose, you have an N, you have an S, and vowels. So whenever you have a nose situation, meaning N, S, or any vowel, you push down on the penultimate syllable, on the syllable before last. That is my nose rule. With all other consonants, the stress will be at the end, except for the NS, that is the nose. There are words, however, where the one single stress will be placed in defiance of my nose rule. If and whenever that happens, they're very nice about it, very accommodating. Because whenever a stress will be placed in defiance of the nose rule, you will have an accent in Spanish. That accent will show you where to place the one single stress if it is in defiance of the nose rule. So If you go to Spain and you want to go to Mérida, how would you spell Mérida?
M-E with an accent.
Mm-hmm.
R-I-D-A.
Right. M-E, and you have an accent over the E, because it's Mérida. Without the accent, it would be Mérida. But it is not Mérida, but Mérida. And you have an accent. You also have Mérida, incidentally, in Yucatan, Mexico. If Mexico is Mexico, you have an accent over the E. Otherwise, it would be Mexico, but it is Mexico. Now, what is reservation in Spanish?
Reservación.
Reservación. You have an N at the end. Actually, according to the nose rule, it should not be reservación, but reservación. But it is not reservación, but reservación. Therefore, with all ION nouns, you'll find an accent over the O, because you hit the ending in defiance of my nose rule. So with all 1,000 or 1,200 nouns ending in ION, you will find an accent over the O. Condición, posición, and so on. Situation would be...
Situación.
Right, situación. Impression would be...
Impresación.
Try again.
Impresión.
Right. Impresión. Yes, yes. And in Spanish you only have one S, not, you don't double the S. Impresión. Mm-hmm. So, what impression do you have of the situation would be?
¿Qué impresión
Do you have?
tiene?
Once more?
Tiene
Tiene, right? Of the situation.
de la situación. Situación.
Right. ¿Qué impresión tiene de la situación? The word for like that or that way is
Así.
así, spelled
A-S-I with an accent over the I.
right. A is I, and you have an accent over the I, because without the accent it would be así. Yes. The word for here is aquí. How would you spell aquí? The K sound in Spanish is spelled with a QU. So aquí would be spelled
A-Q-U-I with an accent.
the accent where?
Over the I.
Right. A-Q-U-I with an accent over the I. It's aquí. Without the accent it would be aquí. So aquí. How would you say, will you make a reservation for me? Will you, meaning can you make a reservation for me?
Puede hacer
Right.
una reservación
For me.
para mí.
Right. Para mí. Yes.
Para mí.
If you say it's para mí, that would be can you make a reservation for me?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
If you use a question mark. There's a difference. Puede hacer una reservación para mí, por favor, if you want to say please. But if you want to say, can you make a reservation for me? That becomes a question. Can you or can you not? Puede hacer una reservación para mí? How would you say, why can't you make a reservation for me?
¿Por qué
Can you not?
no puede?
No push.
No puede
Right. ¿Por qué no puede make?
hacer una reservación para mí?
Right. ¿Por qué no puede hacer una reservación para mí? Why can't you do it?
¿Por qué no puede hacerlo?
Right. Porque no puede hacerlo. So again, to know is
Saber.
saber, S-A-B-E-R. And to see is
Bear.
bear, yes. But V-E-R, yes. So saber, to know, bear, to see. I want to know it.
Quiero
Quiero to know it.
saberlo.
Quiero saberlo. I want to see it.
Quiero verlo.
Verlo, yes. Spelled in one word, V-E-R-L-O. Quiero verlo. So verlo is to see it. To see you would be verle, L-E. To see them would be verlos. Los for them. If to see them, if them are all ladies, all feminine, girls and women, that would be las. But if you have 10,000 women and there's one man los there, it still will be los. So, I want to see them would be...
Quiero verlos.
Right. Quiero verlos. Or quiero verlas if them are all women. I want to see it.
Quiero verlo. Bello.
Right. Once more.
Quiero verlo.
Right. Quiero verlo. And I want to see you. Instead of verlo, make it
Verle. Verle.
verle. Yes. So I want to see you.
Quiero verle.
Quiero verle. And to see me would be verme. Verme. Me spelled M-E like in English. Me. Yes. So we have two types of me. But the preposition we had before, for me, would be para mí, am I. But to see me, verme. Let's take to understand is comprender, to comprehend, to understand, comprender, comprender. To understand it would be
Comprenderlo.
comprenderlo. To understand you,
Comprenderle.
comprenderle, right. To understand them,
Comprenderlos.
comprenderlos. To understand them, all ladies,
Comprenderlas.
yes, but don't hit the ending.
Comprenderlas.
Comprenderlas. To understand me,
Comprendermi.
comprenderme. Comprenderme. Can you understand me? Would be
Puede.
no. Push.
Puede.
Right. Puede. Puede.
Comprenderme.
Right. Puede comprenderme. Can you understand me? Yes. Why can't you understand me?
Porque no
Why-
puedo comprender.
You just puedo means why can I not?
No puede
Right.
comprenderme.
Right. ¿Por qué no puede comprenderme? Why can't you understand me? To say or to tell is decir. Decir spelled D-E-C-I-R. Decir. In Madrid you will say decir. Yes, for the TH sound. Decir. Decir or decir. So decir, to say or to tell. Decir. Ir. I-R. Decir. So again, to say, to tell.
Decir.
Decir. Yes, once more.
Decir.
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 Ir.
Decir.
Once more.
Decir.
Decir. Decir. Once more.
Decir.
Yeah, but don't break it up.
Decir. Decir.
Right. Decir. Once more.
Decir.
Right. To tell it would be.
Decirlo.
Once more.
Decirlo.
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 To tell you.
Decirle.
Decirle. To tell me.
Decirme.
Decirme. Can you tell me, or will you tell me, would be.
Puede.
Only one push.
Puede.
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 Decirme.
Right. Puede decirme. Puede decirme. Why can't you tell me? Why can't you tell me now?
¿Por qué?
¿Por qué?
¿Por qué no puede decirme ahora?
Right. ¿Por qué no puede decirme ahora? I want to know it.
Quiero saberlo.
Right. Quiero saberlo. To buy is comprar. Comprar. C-O-M-P-R-A-R. Comprar. To buy. I want to buy something here. Would be.
Quiero comprar algo
algo here.
aquí.
Right. Quiero comprar algo aquí. What do you want to buy here? What do you want? What is...
¿Qué?
Do you want?
Quiere.
Yes, little more push.
¿Qué quiere?
Right. Que quiere
¿Qué quiere?
to buy?
Comprar.
Comprar. C-O-M-P-R-A-R. Comprar.
¿Qué quiere comprar
Here.
aquí?
Right. Que quiere comprar aquí. Yes. So why don't you want to buy it?
¿Por qué
Don't you want?
no quiere?
Once more.
¿Por qué no quiere
Right. ¿Por qué no quiere to buy it?
comprar?
That is, comprar is to buy it.
Comprarlo.
Comprarlo is right. ¿Por qué no quiere comprarlo? The word for expensive is caro. Caro. C-A-R-O. Like an expensive car. Yes, caro is expensive. So it is very expensive.
Es muy caro.
Right. Es muy caro. What does I have?
Tengo.
Tengo. You have?
Tiene.
What?
Tiene.
Tiene. Do you have it?
Oh, lo tiene.
Right? Lo tiene? Why don't you have it for me?
¿Por qué no lo tiene para mí?
Para
mí.
Para mí, right. ¿Por qué no lo tiene para mí? But to have, the whole verb, to have, is tener. Tenacious. Tener. Spelled T-E-N-E-R. Tener, to have. Like, I want to have it because I need it.
Quiero tenerlo.
Right. quiero, I want. Quiero tenerlo, I want to have it because I need it.
Porque lo necesito.
Right. Porque lo necesito. Quiero tenerlo porque lo necesito. I want to have it because I need it. Yeah. What is I have?
Tengo.
Tengo. You have?
Tiene.
Tiene. And to have?
Tener.
Tener. Right. If you want to say in English, you can say I have and also I have to. I have to in English means I must. I have to know is I must know. And you have a similar situation in Spanish. I have is
Tener.
I have.
Tengo.
Tengo. But I have to or I must is tengo que. So you add que to the verb tener and you have must or have to. Tengo que. Tengo que is I have to. Tengo que. Spelled in two words, but in speaking, you don't break it up. Like in English, you don't say I have to do it, yes, but I have to do it. Oh, how would you say that in Spanish? I have to do it.
Tengo que.
Tengo que.
Tengo que hacerlo.
Right. Tengo que, I have to. To do it, hacerlo. Tengo que hacerlo. I have to do it. To leave is salir. Salir. S-A-L-I-R. Salir. I have to leave. I have to.
Tengo que.
Not que, but que.
Tengo que.
Tengo que. Once more.
Tengo que salir.
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 Right. Tengo que salir. If you want to say soon, would be pronto. 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 So I have to leave soon would be
Tengo que salir.
tengo que.
Tengo que salir.
Salir.
Salir pronto.
Right. Tengo que salir pronto. What does you have?
Tiene.
Tiene. But you have to or you must would be
Tiene que.
tiene que. Yes. You have to do it.
Tiene que hacerlo.
Tiene que hacerlo. Yes. When is cuando. Cuando is when. Cuando. When do you have to do it?
Cuando.
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 Once more. Cuando.
Cuando.
No.
Cuando.
Right. And there's only one push.
Cuando.
Right. Cuando.
Cuando.
You have to do it.
Tiene que
Tiene que.
hacerlo.
Right. Cuando. Tiene que hacerlo. When do you have to do it? What is to say or to tell?
Decir.
Decir. Yes. Decir or decir. Decir. D-E-C-I-R is to say, to tell. So, to tell it would be
Decirlo.
decirlo. To tell you,
Decirle.
decirle. To tell me,
Decirme.
decir,
Decirme.
decirme. So, will you tell me or can you tell me would be
Puede.
only one push.
Puede.
Puede. Tell me.
Decirme.
Right. Puede decirme. Puede decirme. Can you tell me or will you tell me? Yes. But if you really want to say, can you tell me? That becomes a question. That would be,
Puede decirme.
right? Puede decirme? Yes or no? Yes. If you say, puede decirme, then You want to know, yes, can you or can you not? Puede decirme? But without the question mark, puede decirme would be, can you tell me or will you tell me? How would you say, will you tell me why you cannot do it that way?
Puede decirme por qué.
Puede decirme por qué
¿Por qué?
you cannot do it that way.
No puede hacerlo.
Yes, no puede.
No puede hacerlo así.
Right. Puede decirme. Can you tell me or will you tell me? ¿Por qué? Why? No puede. You cannot. No puede hacerlo así. You cannot do it that way. Words in English ending in ical, like political, economical, and so on, are similar in Spanish. And in Spanish, all the, political would be politico. Politico. Economical would be
Economical.
economico. Philosophical.
Filosófico.
Philosophical, yes. How would you say logical?
Logical.
The G. Yes.
Logical.
Lógico is right. Lógico, yes. Lógico. How would you say, it is not logical, but it is very practical that way?
No es lógico,
No es lógico, but
pero
it is very practical.
es muy práctico.
That
Así.
way. Right. No es lógico, pero es muy práctico. Así. The political situation. In Spanish, you say the situation, and then you describe what kind of situation. So the political situation would be
La situación político.
Now, since it is a la word, instead of politico, you make it politica. Because in Spanish, you make a distinction between Roberto and Roberta. So Roberto is masculine, he, and Roberta is a feminine name. So politico, but the situation is la situación. A la word will have politica. La situación política. The economical situation would be
La situación económica.
la situación económica. How would you say the political and economical situation?
La situación política y económica.
Right. In Spain would be en España. In Mexico would be en Mexico. In Argentina would be
En Argentina.
right. In Argentina. How would you say, what impression do you have of the political and economical situation in Spain right now? What impression do you have?
¿Qué impresión
Right? Do you have?
tiene
Once more?
tiene
Tiene.
tiene
Of the
de la situación política
and economical
e económica
in Spain
en España
right now. Now,
ahora,
Ahora, yes. How much is cuánto, cuánto, quantity, cuánto. How much? Not to be confused with cuándo, when. Cuándo with the D is when. Cuánto is how much. How would you say, will you or can you tell me how much it is?
puede
Tell me.
decirme
Right. Puede decirme how much it is?
cuánto es
Right. ¿Puede decirme cuánto es? Because I need it.
porque lo necesito.
Right. Porque lo necesito. And I want to have it. And is y.
Y
I want.
quiero,
Once more.
quiero,
Only one push.
quiero
to have it.
tenerlo.
Right. Quiero tenerlo. And I want to buy it. And y. I want to buy it.
Quiero
Once more. Quiero to buy it.
comprar.
Comprarlo, y quiero comprarlo. If it is not very expensive. If is sí. Sí, S-I, sí. The same as yes, sí.
Sí.
Sí, it is not very expensive.
No es muy cost.
No, expensive is an expensive car.
Caro.
Caro, yes. Sí no es muy caro. Yes, sí no es muy caro. I am is estoy. Estoy. Estoy is spelled E-S-T-O-Y. Estoy. I am busy would be I am occupied. Occupied is ocupado. Ocupado. So I am busy would be?
Estoy ocupado.
Ocupado. Yes, estoy ocupado. So you will say ocupado for masculine. Yes, if you say estoy ocupado. If you say I am busy for feminine.
Estoy ocupada.
Ocupada, right. Estoy ocupada. The word for tired is cansado. 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 Or cansada. So I am tired would be?
Estoy cansada. Estoy cansada.
Don't make yourself feminine.
Estoy cansado.
Right. Estoy cansado. You will say, I am tired.
Estoy cansada.
Right. And estoy cansada for feminine. If you take out the N of cansado, you will get casado. Casa means house, and casado means housed. To be housed in Spanish means to be married. So again, I am is?
Estoy.
Estoy. I am not very busy today. You remember today is hoy. H-O-Y. Hoy. So I'm not very busy today would be?
No estoy muy ocupada
Ocupado. Today.
hoy.
Hoy. Right. So once more. I'm not very busy today.
No estoy ocupado.
Very busy.
No estoy muy ocupado hoy.
Right. No estoy muy ocupado hoy. I am going, in Spanish, is boy. Oh, boy. Boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. 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 Spelled V-O-Y. Boy, yes, I'm going. Boy. Boy. Again, the V, pronounced with your lips, like a B. Boy. Boy. I'm going. Boy. Yes. But usually, you're going to do something. You're going to eat, you're going to the market, you're going to the movies, you're going to someplace or to do something. Therefore, after boy, I'm going, you will use boy, a. A, spelled A, meaning to, which you use with going. Going to, so I'm going to would be boy, a. Boy, a, I'm going to. So it's always boy, a. I'm going. Though it is spelled in two words, but in the spoken language, you contract the boy a to boya. Boya. You make it practically one word, yes? In speaking, boya, 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 yes? So you don't break it up. You don't say boy a, but boya, boya, yes? So if you want to say, I'm going to eat now, would be,
Voy a comer.
right, voy a comer now.
Ahora.
Right. Voy a comer ahora. I'm going to buy it.
Voy a comprarlo.
Right. Voy a comprarlo. I'm not going to buy it because it's very expensive.
No voy a comprarlo.
No voy a, once more.
No voy a comprarlo.
Right.
¿Por qué?
Porque it is very expensive.
Es muy caro.
Right. Porque es muy caro. Because it's very expensive. So, no voy a comprarlo. I'm not going to buy it. I'm going to tell you would be,
Voy a decir.
yes, I'm going to tell you.
Okay. Voy a decirle.
Right. Voy a decirle. Voy a decirle. I'm going to tell you. The word for late is tarde. To be tardy. Tarde. T-A-R-D-E. Tarde is late. Very late would be,
Muy tarde.
right. So it is very late.
Es muy tarde.
Right. Es muy tarde. But later in Spanish is more late. The word for more is más. You may have heard, because it's used so much, the expression más o menos. Have you ever heard that? So más o menos means more or less. Más means more, M-A-S. O, just spelled O. Yes, the O is an O, not O but O, like in obey. So you have más o, and menos, M-E-N-O-S, means minus or less. So más o menos means more or less or just about. Yes, más o menos, used a lot for just about, approximately, más o menos, más o menos, más o menos. So más, more late would be más.
Más o menos.
Más o menos is more or less. Just more late.
Más o...
No. Más.
Más tarde.
Right, más tarde. Más tarde means later. Later. How would you say, what was to be? To be is?
Estar.
Right, to be a star, of course. What else? A star, to be.